Who goes to an asylum, an abandoned one at that, in the middle of the night? Well, definitely these two. Some time ago, two explorers, Michael and Brian, decided to check out an abandoned asylum in the middle of nowhere at night. According to them, they chose nighttime to make it more interesting. Well, it did do one thing, make it more terrifying. Even the path that led to it was creepy.
It's missing the top piece. Does that mean there's no roof? Holy shit, look at the graffiti. We're gonna dumped in here.
When they got to the building, they immediately began exploring. The entire building had been destroyed, and what was left of it were some broken walls with scribbled write-ups. They went down what they thought at first was the basement, but just when they wanted to leave and check out the rest of the building, the pair discovered they were not alone. Michael looked out the window and saw what he deemed to be a person who also had a light. They turned off theirs, and just at that moment, so did the third party.
There's no walls.
Yes, I see their light. They're out there. I swear on my life. Right there.
Wonder what Michael was thinking when he asked his friend if he should say hello to whomever or whatever was outside. Well, he didn't. They decided it wasn't safe to be in that building when a random person they were unknown to was in the vicinity as well. So they stepped out.
100%
That was a person. But he had a phone.
Why is there a person here? Like what?
The pair waited a while longer outside the building, hoping that it was a person and that whoever it was would come and talk to them. But no one nor thing came, and just when they decided to leave, then came the light again. They called out this time, but of course no response.
Hello?
Hello?
That was when the final decision to leave without hesitation was made. While in the car, they said the whole thing was too sketchy and that whoever was out there could want to rob them. This makes me wonder, if you're in the middle of nowhere or somewhere, an abandoned asylum in a deserted area in the middle of the night, and just being robbed is what you're most concerned about? Anyway, the boys were lucky to get away well.
It's down there.
Alright, I guess this is going on the second channel or something, because that's not a full video right there.
Yeah, we got scared out.
3 urban explorers teamed up to check out an abandoned mental hospital. Their encounter? See for yourself.
It isn't good. No, it's good. Oh, more of these things.
It's the same thing from what?
Sometime into their exploration, they began to hear unsettling noises. They turned off their lights. After which, at one point, they suggested it was a woman, then a car, and even a loudspeaker.
Doesn't it?
It does a little bit, yeah. But what is it?
But they would soon discover it was none of those, but a fox. And it seemed as though the sounds they heard were the fox doing a mating call or something.
It sounds like kids.
It's a fox.
That's a fox?
Yeah,
You sure?
it's a fox.
Okay, I've never heard of
They began laughing and talking normally again. They were relieved, but not for long.
That's the light.
I wish they could start out at like a dimmer setting. So I hate doing that to people.
Jesus Christ.
Because as they continued exploring, they began hearing sounds again. They were obviously freaked out. Then one of them said he wasn't worried, just scared. What an interesting distinction. Wonder what exactly he was feeling. Either way, they continued moving.
Big difference.
The sounds did not stop. It is not absurd to hallucinate in these kinds of situations. Thus, the trio getting scared of their own reflections. They turned off their lights to be sure it wasn't something else. That was when it dawned on them that it was just reflections created by the effect of their light.
So it's creepy in here.
The way it echoes.
A lot of stuff from the ceiling is coming down here.
Must have been a lot of
As they explored further, they began hearing an increasingly loud sound, like an echo. Again, they weren't alone, but this time, it seemed to be just crickets.
Oh man, that painting on the wall scared the crap out of me. Look at that.
Wait.
The head.
And after that, they had no more creepy encounters so far as this story is concerned. But as their chapter closed, that of another set of explorers opened up. A group of friends gained illegal access into an abandoned asylum and filmed their way through.
Should we be careful about the car lights over here, or does it not matter, you don't think? I don't think it matters.
After exploring the place, they made several disturbing discoveries, including blood and body organs.
Fridges, maybe. All right, you want to go upstairs?
They soon heard strange noises from an unknown source that prompted them to make the decision to leave immediately.
What is it? I don't know. There's trees rustling in the wind. Jesus Christ.
They all leave the building in a hurry for fear of discovering even more eerie things.
Who it is?
There's no other car here.
He was right on this side.
That was 100%.
That was a person.
This YouTuber took his viewers on a journey to explore an abandoned hospital when he made disturbing discoveries that even he wasn't prepared for.
Everything is left behind. Like, I'm talking every little thing. These people just totally abandoned this.
After several minutes of exploring, he stumbled into a room with shocking graffiti on the wall and a blood-stained bed, like something from a horror movie.
Probably not. Oh, wow. There's a freaking treadmill in here.
He next stumbles upon fake money and some hospital tools, including a doctor's stethoscope. They must have truly left the hospital in a hurry.
There's more of it in here. Oh, look at this. We got one of these. Some tools. Is this a Ninja Turtle?
But he soon was scared himself as he ran into the most shocking thing in the building. It, however, turns out to be just his friend.
Where are all my sergeants at? Smash the like button. Let me know if you guys are here. I would really... Jesus f***ing man, motherfucker. I'm gonna kill you.
I'm a sergeant, I'm here.
Okay, good. But you scared me. Sakes.
They kept on exploring the hospital, and lucky for them, they made no other eerie encounter. A young man who went to visit his relative in the hospital decided to go to the washroom. Due to unusual screams he heard earlier coming from the washroom, he decided to record his trip to the washroom. When he arrived at the washroom, he continued with the recording as he washed his hands. Unknowingly to him, he swiftly captured something that seemed like a person passing with a hospital garment, but turned and saw nothing. He hurriedly washed his hands and made his way back as soon as possible. Cases of suspicious ghost movement have been reported from that hospital. Esquivel Jean, a nurse in a hospital, experienced a strange event in the hospital as he heard what seemed to be screams coming from a patient in pain during his night duty.
Just a patient in pain, perhaps?
The same night, something strange was captured on the CCTV camera in the hospital. It seemed like a spirit wandering around the hallway.
Box?
The creepiest part of it was when the following night, The nurse captured with his camera moving objects without physically seeing anyone touching them. While exploring an abandoned asylum in broad daylight, this YouTuber unknowingly caught something eerie on her camera. But it was only when reviewing the tape that Kayla noticed the apparition.
Here that an apparition is standing there, and then walking towards the right into one of the rooms.
In this next video, at an abandoned hospital rumored to have been closed for its being haunted, a YouTuber and his friends caught something on camera while exploring. But it is uncommon for ghosts to have shadows. What then did these explorers see? Whether the image was real or mere hallucination, it is clear that hospitals can be spooky, let alone an abandoned one. So it is no surprise what the men saw and captured on their camera.
The question is, who or what's been caught on camera here?
This could just be the creepiest on the list so far. A woman was to begin a job as a caretaker of an abandoned hospital, but it turned out the hospital was not very welcoming. Apparently, her predecessor had died in the building before she was assigned duty.
I came in as a caretaker to take care of the hospital, trying to keep it up and give it some sort of dignity.
But on her arrival, it seemed like, though dead, the former caretaker hadn't completely vacated the building. She claimed she heard his voice a couple of times. Her husband, on the other hand, was helping her put the place in another electrical sense, and he too heard something. According to Douglas, one time when he tried plugging in his extension and drill, there was no power in any of the outlets he tried. He got annoyed and blurted out a few words, and a voice replied to him. A stunned Douglas looked up.
I heard this man talking to me.
The voice asked him to check the fuse box, and when he did, all the switches were off. He turned them on, and his drill worked again.
Went to the fuse box, every switch was on. I turned them on, and my drill worked.
As if those weren't enough, the woman, Linda, said one day she was working on the 3rd floor in the hospital building, and she started hearing a child's voice. This opted for her to start carrying a recorder with her. Yes, that was the child asking her to play with him.
Carrying a recorder with me, and what I recorded was a child speaking 2 full sentences, asking me to play with him.
A while later, Linda was showing some people around the hospital, and she saw a white form, like mist, but in a small portion and moving really fast. She said it was headed towards her, and she jumped out of the way, afraid it was going to run her over. Another time, she was with some people in a room, and suddenly a scream was heard. It sounded like that of a woman in torture.
Kind of thing. And it sounded like she was getting tortured.
On another night, Linda was on the 3rd floor again, but this time in a room. And for some reason, she decided to get up and look down the hallway. What her eyes met, you see for yourself. She took a picture of it.
It was just standing there at the center of the hallway, and it started coming towards us.
The figure stood in the center of the hallway, but not for long. It soon started walking up to the couple. Douglas decided he would confront the thing, which they began calling Mr. Black due to its appearance. But it wasn't long before he stopped in his tracks, in fear. But just then, everything cleared out, and Mr. Black was gone. At one time, they heard a deep voice like a grown man, which they understood to be what sounded like a get out. Obviously, whatever was in that hospital didn't want them there with it. It's really a wonder how these two experienced all these and didn't take to their heels ASAP. This next video might just make you believe there's a hospital for ghosts or something. Take a look, as if the opening and closing by themselves weren't shocking enough. The security guard there just naturally got up with a clipboard and began doing what seemed to have been attending to the patient.
A video all the way from Argentina has become the point of discussion on social media for a very creepy reason. It shows a security guard at the hospital speaking to someone who is not visible.
He even went ahead to act like he was carrying a patient on a wheelchair. Or was he? No comments on that one.
However, it appears the guard did see someone enter because he went up to this invisible patient with a clipboard and started talking to him and taking details.
caught on an explorer's camera in an abandoned hospital building was the following. The building was empty of people, as expected, but it hadn't been abandoned for too long before these friends decided to check it out. So the power was still on and some furniture was intact. But something really weird happened when they got to a sink.
There's just such an eeriness about abandoned hospitals like this, with literally no one around.
First off, the water began running, coming on and off on its own. You could say that was a plumbing issue, but how then do you explain the EMF detector simultaneously alerting to the presence of something paranormal whenever taken close to the sink?
Pocket. I do. Yeah, oh my god. Yo. What the f***? No f***.
Now that is enough to alarm anyone. But these two found it cool, and the only thing that could send them out of there were the security guards they noticed around in the area a while later. Well, they didn't get caught. In this next video is yet again another pair of urban explorers casually checking out an abandoned asylum at night. The first odd thing that happened was that the light of one of them, which he claimed was brand new, just went off unexpectedly a few minutes into their stay there.
So this right here. Oh, what the f***? Dude. I have a brand new light and it just shut off.
Oh, really?
Look at that. It just got drained to 0.
That scared him, as it would anyone. But that was just the beginning of his scare. Because not too long after, he saw something at the other end of the hallway. Or so he thought. Oh well, the rest is history. If you didn't find that unsettling or scary in any way, this frightening video will definitely do the job.
Door over here. Just another creepy hallway.
A young man was patrolling an empty local hospital when he heard some noise on the upper level and decided to check it out with his camera in hand. What he captured is almost unexplainable. Maybe you can make something out of it.
Slightly tinted in a brown color, almost see-through. Safe to say that this was no ordinary human, which gives the reason to assume that this perhaps was one of the lingering spirits that still roam this old part of the hospital.
Did you see that? That was a black figure right there by the window, close to that chair. But that wasn't the only other thing in the building, because at the end of the whole way was another black-shadowed figure. After being scared when they visited an abandoned military hospital, some friends decided to return to the hospital, but with more friends this time, for another visit.
Here we go. Get into the house, get into the house.
We're fine. We made it into the first house.
We got it. We've been here before. It's a pretty long trek. It's about a mile. If anyone sees anything, literally, tell everyone to get down. Because we're all in black, so we should be fine.
I don't know if you could hear, but there's a ton of construction or security around.
They weren't supposed to be in there, and so they were scared of getting caught. They turned off their lights each time they suspected someone, most likely security, was in the building with them or around.
Brothers, there's some lights at the front of the building. Guys, get down for a second. Is it gone?
Just see lights in the distance. Did you hear this?
Someone is in here. Someone is in here.
Were you rolling during that?
Yes, I was. Something's following us. The only thing, there it is again. Someone's in there, dude. You can't see it.
They can't see it on the camera.
There's a flashlight up top. That means there's some sort of...
Right over there.
Yeah, there's some sort of security. Some sort of video.
It says that it's protected by intrusion alarms and stuff.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah.
But it took something else to chase them out of that place. They were walking still in the building, and suddenly they heard a big bang. Each of them needed not to be told to run. They all took to their heels, because whatever that was, it wasn't good. They had to look for a quick exit.
Wait, that's the star room too.
This is right here.
What was that? What the?
do we get out of here? How do we get out of here?
Here, I'll lead the way.
Okay, go.
Be careful, watch your step. That was loud. Dude, this is let's get out of here. Dude, like that's not
Oh, shit. Go. How do we get out of here? Go.
Watch your heads.
Go. Lights down. Get down.
How do we get back to the car?
They escaped the building all right, but there was security down trying to catch up with them, and they almost got caught. But almost doesn't count now, does it? They got away successfully.
Yo, why was he going so slow?
You guys ready to just book it?
Yeah.
All right.
3, 2. Yes!
Nobody over here, nobody over there. We're good.
As soon as we got up towards the barricade, I didn't hear anything anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
So we should be fine.
Security's car's right behind.
Oh shoot. Okay. We said we were all good, but let me see if I can zoom in. Do you see that? Do you see that? Go.
Pedal to the metal right now. Pedal to the metal right now.
Pedal to the metal, dude.
Come on, Corolla, let's go! Come on,
Holy
Security guard, like literally as we're leaving, he pulls up right behind us. We leave, he's like speeding after us and shit. His sirens are flaring.
Is that still him?
I think so. The headlights, yeah, because he rounded the corner right after we did.
We would have waited like another 5 minutes.
Dude, literally,
he would have been right in front of us.
Dude, there was nothing the whole time until we were there. Yeah, literally 30 seconds if we waited, would have been done.
Dude, we were lucky.
Going by the houses like a couple times, I thought I actually saw something. Like I was purposely not looking, but then...
A group of young adults decided to go visit a hospital they deemed to be haunted. And their experience? See for yourself. So they had just gotten inside the building, and they saw what would almost be like the weirdest painting ever.
Whoa. Tingnan mo, men. So, meron dito mga drawing na...
Okay, maybe not that weird, but it is weird. They contemplated it a while, but then moved along. Next was a flying thing, which did successfully scare them, or at least one of them.
Oh shit, boy! Oh my god.
But the next thing was even creepier. Though just a write-up, considering what was written and the date of the exploration, anyone there at that moment would be freaked out. On a wall was written, "Beware of Ghosts, November 1st, 1988. And coincidentally, the date of that day was November 1st, except the year was 2021.
Mababait ang mga tao dito, men. Look at this. Beware of Ghost, November 1, 1988. Holy shit. The date today is November 1, 2021. At itong sulat na to.
33 years na yun, boy, kasi yung 1980, taon niya nakapanganakan ko.
Ah, totoo ba?
But it wasn't necessarily what they encountered inside that scared them, at least not directly, because one of the group members passed out on their way out. One can list a number of things that could make a person pass out. But considering the situation, where they were and all, you could say it was caused by something in there. Even if it was a panic attack, it was probably triggered by the creepy environment. But we'll never know now, would we? Because that was when the crew decided to stop recording.
Substance came from the human, burns of the human. We will start to get dizzy. Ganon. And one thing then, panic attack knowing this.
If you're ever planning to visit any abandoned hospital, unless you're looking for something that'll scare the life out of you, don't visit Yorktown Memorial, South Texas. Built by a group of Catholic nuns, it has its own fair share of evil. One time, when a pair of normal people went to visit, they encountered this.
Headed toward the maternity area. Last time we were here, a doll in one room started unexpectedly talking to us.
Oh. That thing is talking.
But this time, they went with some paranormal investigators. Everything seemed normal, but one of the investigators left her audio recorder in the chapel, and when she returned for it, the recorder did actually have something on it. And not wind or any other thing that could have been mistaken, but something real and solid.
Audio recorder alone there. In those recordings, we heard the sounds of what seems to be a choir.
The EMF detector was kept in the toy room, where last time the toys were alleged to be talking. But nothing was sensed. Not until the people in there began singing Itsy Bitsy Spider. Just then, the EMF reader began reacting.
Electromagnetic energy was placed on a table in the toy room, and while investigators read children's books and sang children's songs, nothing happened. But then it went off when they sang Itsy Bitsy Spider.
The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out.
But this isn't the last you'll hear of this hospital here. Because in this next video, these two visited the hospital and tried something really shocking. So apparently they had heard that the ghosts of nuns in the hospital scratched and choked people who came in there wearing tattoos. In an attempt to get some kind of verification, one of the men took off his shirt and revealed a number of tattoos, including a demonic one as well, on his body.
We were told by several people that people that come up here with tattoos get choked. So I am going to expose my tattoos right now in hopes that I get scratched or choked.
Is it a plaid sweatshirt? Looks like it. First time I've ever seen Zach in plaid.
So I heard you don't like tattoos. Well, I got a really good tattoo that I don't think you're gonna like too much.
What happened next? Some unsettling noise was heard in the background, like those in horror movies. And then, a voice was caught on their digital recorder.
All right, now it just got creepy in here, man. Soul.
You want my soul? You want my soul? You like these tattoos? You like these tattoos?
You may not be able to see anything, but you don't have to see to hear the voices.
Because of my tattoos? Wow, I can feel you.
Let's go to the confessional, confess our sins.
I've been going to dark, scary locations for a long time and I'm starting to like it.
Think about what? Jesus.
One can only say that these two had some guts pulling that off, and as if the ghosts were scared of them, they left the hospital unscathed. An urban explorer named Pradep went about navigating through the hospital corridor of an abandoned hospital with his camera when it captured something strange. It captured something that seemed like a lifeless body on a hospital rolling chair. He quickly turned the camera to the other side and turned it back to discover the body had vanished. A hospital worker who was working late was trying to keep things in order when he heard strange noises and decided to bring out his phone and record the incident.
For whatever reason, the man captured someone though and didn't realize it before watching the footage at home.
Suddenly, he saw a very strange figure looking out from the right corner of the hallway and went close to take a look. A somewhat transparent figure, almost completely see-through. This seemed like no ordinary figure, which gave the impression it was one of those spirits thought to roam about that part of the hospital.
It looks as if a tall shadow figure is stepping out of one of the patient rooms and then seems to have mysteriously retreated once the young man takes another look at the corridor.
2 nurses were on night duty when one of them decided to make a video as he was catching fun with his female colleague. Suddenly, a shadow passed very quickly behind his colleague.
Es que te estoy enfocando las boobies.
As they both hurriedly went to check it out, but unfortunately, it vanished. It was thought that the shadow...
Ah, no mames.
¿Qué?
Pasó algo.
¿Qué pasó? No mames.
A ver, ven. No mames, pasó algo, te lo juro que pasó algo, ¿eh?
Se mueve, se mueve.
Vete a la verga.
Yo no voy.
No mames.
This next video was captured on a CCTV camera outside the hospital, where the automatic glass door seemed to have a malfunction, but the security guard said it happened often, but that day seemed to be different, as there was a strange reflection in the door, which seemed like a ghost, or ghosts, so to speak. Some believed it must have been a reflection of people passing, but it was so unlikely and unusual. In this next video, captured on the cell phone camera of a nurse, is what appeared to be the manifestation of a ghost.
Fabiola.
Did you see that? Now, look more carefully. To the side of the nurse approaching is a black figure, walking as if it were almost lifeless. Maybe it was.
Later, many said that precisely at that moment, a patient who had arrived urgently at the scene died in the middle of resuscitation protocols by medical personnel. While his family was devastated, their grief could have caused that brief manifestation of a strange black figure.
Many said that just a few moments earlier, a patient had been rushed and unfortunately died in treatment. They believed that the grief of the family could have triggered the manifestation of their loved one. When a man and his friends were busy exploring an abandoned hospital and being the last in line, he got something abnormal on his camera. You could argue that that could have been an actual person, but the man who videoed these together with his friends were the only ones in the building, at least they were supposed to be. When some nurses heard noise from an adjoining room in which they knew there was no patient, they decided to check it out on the security footage since they were too scared to encounter whatever was there, and what they found was something almost unimaginable. Recorded by a security camera in a hospital around 3 in the morning was this spooky footage of things randomly moving themselves around in a room or being moved by an unseen force. Whatever that was, it must have been really angry or just destructive. You'd wonder why a family would want to build a home at an abandoned hospital site. This family's house camera captured something that one would deem to have been a ghost, or at least a ghost figure. But this house was once a hospital before being turned into a family house, so you could say it's not all too surprising that such could have been caught on camera in the living room. It was a misty figure that appeared to have passed through the door and kept moving. Watch again closely. You may say it must have been actual mist, but mist doesn't pass through closed doors now, does it? It was just another regular day of work at a hospital, or so they thought until they saw this. Without hesitation, the two receptionists left whatever it was that they were doing and hurriedly walked in the opposite direction. The security camera still caught the chair moving. You could say it has wheels and can roll on its own. But can it turn on its own too? A night watch was patrolling the empty halls of a hospital, or at least it was supposed to be empty, when he captured this on his camera. If that didn't give you the creeps, then your emotions are probably malfunctioning. A worker at an old hospital believed to be haunted was at work one night when he began hearing some noise like the voice of a little girl and decided to check around with his cell phone camera on.
He tells us that he is working at an old hospital that he believes to be certainly haunted. He's hearing strange voices.
If you look closely, you'll notice there is a somewhat white figure standing close to the doors in one of the corridors. While exploring an abandoned children's asylum, this man found what seemed to be a blood-stained floor, and not just a tiny spot. Now, if that truly was blood, then either whoever owned that bled a lot or it didn't belong to any one person. This makes one wonder. Bloodstain, children's asylum. Were the kids being killed, or were they so insane that they were killing? Or was it just some random killing only after the asylum was abandoned? A man had a paranormal encounter at an abandoned hospital. Well, it looked like that was the kind of thing he was looking for anyway. But that door wasn't the creepy one. The curtain was. And as if he had just found what he was searching for, the man ran away. A young doctor had been rumored to have committed suicide and is now roaming in the hospital where he died, and eerie footage was captured by someone who was in that same hospital of what looked like, just see for yourself. Creepy, right? But it got even creepier when the figure began walking towards whoever was behind the camera. The cameraman, of course, stepped back. Two paranormal investigators went on to visit the abandoned Sutton Hospital. They had heard many ghost stories since the abandonment of the hospital and decided to come see, or in their case, hear for themselves.
Oh, I don't know, look, come here. Look at that. Look how fibrous that is.
Yeah.
Let's just go out of...
But their whole time inside that building, they kept hearing unsettling noises, from squealing to rustling. When two explorers, Sam and Colby, went to an abandoned hospital to explore, they experienced a thing or two that sent them running out.
Amanda M. got raped here. Ropes, gloves? There's a scarf, This was right where
It all began when they met other explorers outside the building, one of whom briefed them on the stories he had heard. And then they went in.
Okay. If you can fit through it, you can get in there.
Ever seen anything in here?
No, but I know the stories. Basically, this used to be an old mental hospital built in 1860. This side's where they housed all the mental...
The first thing they noticed that was off about the place was the graffiti. It all looked satanic. But they were determined to encounter more than just scary graffiti, so they went on. But not for long. Soon they began hearing thuds from above them. But it was not until they saw clothes of a girl that was rumored to be raped in that same building scattered on the floor that they took to their heels. After hearing stories about a little boy's spirit wandering in an abandoned hospital and ward where his father died, a bunch of explorers decided to see for themselves. They began carrying out some tests to ascertain if truly the spirit was in the building. One of the explorers turned on his audio recorder and asked if the boy would like them to follow him into the ward where his father was. And they seemed to have gotten a reply.
If you were a young girl, sort of 20s, under 20s even, who felt pregnant.
Then another one if the explorers asked the boy's spirit, which they could not yet see, to flash the EMF device when his hand reached his height. And what happened will shock you.
Your height, if you can let me know, I'm going to keep going up. Oh, yeah, okay. You ready?
When they decided to find the spirit's late father's ward, they followed a REM pod signal into a particular room, and after polling their ideas together, They decided to try the audio recorder again. They decided to check with a spirit box as well, and this happened. How are these guys not scared yet? They went on and on to try even more daring things.